Namaskar. Welcome to Prakash on Basics. I'm Prakash Zog. We've been talking of Sanskars, and last time we talked of those Sanskars that are performed prior to the birth of the baby. Let us now look into those Sanskars that are performed immediately after the birth of the child. This, of course, is the fourth major Sanskar, and it is known as the Jata Karma. It's a Sanskar that is performed immediately after the birth of the child. It also includes some rituals like Ayushya Home, Kumar Abhimantran, and Prashana, which are a part and parcel of the same sanskar. Uh, it starts off with 21 ahutis or oblations of ghee in the home of fire by the father. In the remaining ghee, curd, honey, and water is mixed. It is stirred with a gold spoon. If a spoon is not available, a gold ring or something is used to stir it up. The father then makes the child lick it 3 times. He then uh, utters, or pronounces certain statements. Be hard as a rock, be sharp as an axe, be illustrious as gold. Actually, some of the Smrutis give a slightly different set of details. The father is said to utter the words "Vak, Vak, Vak" 3 times in the ear of the child. This represents his ability to grasp the three Vedas. The baby, after this, is breastfed for the first time. A prayer known as the Medha Janana for the increase in the intelligence of the child is also recited. And prayers are offered to Indra, the king of gods. The next sanskar is known as the Namakarana, the naming ceremony. According to Manu, it has to be performed on the 10th or the 12th day. And if not on those 2 days, on an auspicious day whose tithi, muhurta, nakshatra, all those details are favorable for the child. Nowadays, of course, there is a trend to perform it on the 12th day. There are no specific rituals to be performed on this particular occasion. Basically, the ceremony is for the public announcement of the formal name of the child. But the child is given four different names. The first one is known as the Vyavaharik Naam, the public name, a commonly known name of the child for all practical use. Uh, the second one is known as the Gotra Naam. It is associated with the lineage of the child. The third is known as the Gupta Naam. It is a secret name that is given to the child to be used by him during his Upanayan Sanskar and later on in his Sandhya also. And the fourth one is known as the Nakshatra Naam. It is an alphabet that is selected based on the birth constellation of the child. And he's given a specific name according to that alphabet, which may or may not be used commonly. In addition to this, Manu says that these names must have a suffix as per their own caste or varna. If it's a Brahmin, it has to end with Sharmana. If it's a Kshatriya, it is Varman. If it's Vaishya, it ends with Bhuti. And if it is Kshudra, it is Das. And we have so many names of this sort. Nowadays, of course, many a times these have been converted into the corresponding surnames, which also identify accordingly, like Sharma and Varma. But Vishnu Sharma was a common name, and Deva Varma, and Deva Bhuti, and Vishnu Das, and so forth. These are all names that are associated in the same manner and that were given at those days. Today, of course, there is a lot of change in all this. By present tradition, it is the father's sister who is supposed to utter the name of the child in his ear and then make a public announcement of it. Usually, then there was a trend that boys were given uh, names with even syllables, while girls were given with odd syllables. Also, in many cases, girls' names usually ended with A or E, like Aditi or Vishakha, and the boys with four letters like Devavrat and so forth. So, all these names, but then there were always exceptions as per the choice of the parents and the grandparents and so forth. The next sanskar is known as Nishkramana. It is taking the child or the baby out of the house. And usually this is after 4 months. Let me remind you that in those early days, there were no temples then. So it was basically confronting the child uh, to the sun, the major visible god then, and according to me, even today. The father exposes the child to the sun's mild rays, making the baby look at the sun. He recites relevant verses and then makes ahuti or oblations of food cooked in milk, obviously to the sun. Uh, present trend is to visit a temple or the Grama Daivat, the god or the deity associated with the town or the village or the city. And then the child is taken to a close relative, a well wisher, where the child would be safe, secure, and cared and nurtured for, only for that particular day. Um, what happens if you're not in India and outside where there? I remember when my daughter's daughter was born, there was no temple in that particular town, so she took her to the most auspicious place that was around, which was a gurudwara, and then put her baby in front of mm, the granthi and the granth sahib, and he is the one who blessed the child, and that was the ritual of nishkramana for them. There is one more ritual which is very commonly practiced. It's not really a part of sanskar as such. It's known as Karna Ved. Karna is ear, Ved is piercing. It's not a major sanskar, but it's a very important major Hindu tradition. The reason is a Hindu identification process is associated with this pierced ears that all of us have. So this is a regular ritual that is practiced by all. It is performed usually on the 12th or the 16th day. Um, or there is an option of performing it on the 7th or the 10th month. The child is made to sit on the lap of the father who is facing east, and the ear is pierced by the goldsmith using a gold wire. Usually, as a practice for boys, it is the right ear that is pierced first, and for the girls, it is the left. Uh, as a practice, Brahman Bhojan, that is food to the Brahmins who are expected to bless the child, is also served on the same day. And then the eighth sanskar, which is known as annaprashana. Anna is food. So the first eating of food, solid food, and this is usually after the teething, or after 6 months, when first cooked food is given to the child. Remember that when all these texts and all these sanskars were formulated, vegetarianism was not prevalent. Uh, People were omnivorous. Um, so, as a part of the ritual that is recorded, one of the following of what I am mentioning is to be cooked by the father and is mixed with curds, honey, ghee, and then fed to the child. If it's goat flesh, its objective is good nourishment. If it is fish, it is supposed to impart swiftness to the child. If it's boiled rice, it provides luster and splendor. And if it is uh, flesh of a partridge or a bird, uh, the child becomes holy and is said to be very lustrous and so forth. These, of course, were some of the aspects that were thought of then. Suitable mantras are recited, and whatever is left, because the child is not going to eat too much, and the remaining is fed to the mother. Of course, that is supposed to help her to get additional nourishment too. And nowadays, as tradition, it is the mother's brother, who's known as the mama, is to feed the baby. Uh, One of the reason obviously is these deliveries were usually at the mother's place, and the uncle mama was the only male person who came in contact and knew the baby very well during that time. The objective is uh, obviously, after teething, to provide suitable, timely, sufficient nourishment for not only the child but also to the mother, who's supposed to feed him and herself along, and then onwards. So these were the four major ones in the first year of the child. There were one or two. There are one or two terms that are also mentioned during this span. They're not really sanskars, but they are a part and parcel of what happens. And the first one is known as Abdapurti. Uh, the Indians then followed what is typically the lunar calendar, and so uh, every month the baby's birth date is celebrated. Uh, and Varshavardhan, that means end of 1 year, there is also a celebration. Uh, Obviously, this is only to keep track of when the child started walking and when it started its first word and first step, and when it started turning around and so forth. So all these were specified and mentioned. Oh, he started walking on his first birthday or the fourth birthday, and so forth. So these are the steps that are usually performed along with the sanskars in the first year of the child. There are next ones that we must also know. I'm going to come to them next time. Uh, Let me also remind you that if you have appreciated what this is, please keep track of which of them you have witnessed and in what form they are performed in your culture and so forth. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And after 15 days for the same set of topics, we'll meet once more. And that time we'll look at the next set of the sanskars that are very important for all of us. Till then, namaskar.